Think we're doing it, Hannah. Hit accept. Hey, what's up, Duncan? Hey, we did it!
Hey, it worked.
Nice. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Duncan just joined. What's up, Duncan?
Hey,
Uh,
Duncan.
you can kind of see. You might not know some of the names on there. I don't know if they're who's following you or not, but you might have some friends. I have some friends. We'll maybe wait a couple minutes for everyone to come on. But while we're waiting, how are you doing? You guys hanging in there?
Yeah, we're, hanging in there as well as you can be
Yeah.
with all of this, but we're pretty lucky, we're healthy right now, knock on wood.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it's not, our lives aren't turned upside down too much. So
Totally.
just grateful that, we get to stay home and not have to go into work or put our lives in danger like so many people right now. So
Crazy, right? Yeah. No. Yeah.
yeah.
People on those front lines. That's some crazy stuff. So yeah, this is unprecedented times, but it's allowing us personally. It's allowing me to do a little bit of side stuff and produce more content and kind of learn that world instead of just kind of being at the gym training all the time.
Yeah.
It's been pretty cool. So thanks for being my first ever Instagram live guest.
Yeah. Hey,
So,
me too. This is my first, I
oh,
think
nice.
my first IG live at all.
There we go. So
So,
pretty cool. So anyway,
yeah.
so I said I see a couple people on there, but we will post. We'll post. I'll save this for later. We'll post in it. So maybe just get into some questions. Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. So
Awesome.
I'm gonna hit you with question number one. Is and hey, what's up, Mary? This is a question everyone asked me from the gym, and anyone listening right now and has asked me this question is gonna laugh. But people come to the gym. We're a personal training gym. We focus on strength training. Obviously, we have our nutritional seminars. You've done a bunch of nutritional seminars there. Hi, Mary. If you guys have questions, I will keep notes for maybe a little Q&A at the end, or maybe cover some topics we haven't. But I have a few questions I think we'll kind of cover in a lot of this stuff. So it's so funny. I'm watching down. People are saying hi, so hi. But so owning like a fitness gym, we focus on strength and conditioning, right, mostly. And nutrition is sort of something you kind of get through osmosis a little bit. But the question I get from everyone who comes in, and they'll sit down and they'll be like, dude, what do I do about nutrition? And I'm like, such a big question. So I'm going to ask you, what should I do about nutrition?
Yeah, that's a really, really broad question. It's a little tricky to answer, but I think I guess for everybody, you can kind of think about nutrition and break it into two components. So you've got food quality and then quantity. So food quality for everybody is going to be kind of the same principles. So just trying to eat those fresh, whole, quote unquote, real foods most of the time. So those are going to be, all the paleo basics. So like meat, fish, eggs, nuts and seeds, fresh fruits and veggies. But I think it can also include some of those just clean, like bro foods, as I like to call them sometimes. So like oats and rice, sometimes some dairy if it's high quality and if it does okay with your body, but just those like really natural foods. If you can eat that most of the time, you're going to be well on your way to just having a healthy diet. I think beyond that, when we're talking food quantity,
Right.
that is a little bit trickier to answer because it's so individualized. So, there's a few different principles that can kind of work across the board, but overall, yeah, it's just super individualized. When it comes to protein, for example, that one's easier to give recommendations for most people, especially active people. I would say trying to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day.
Right.
If you have a lot of weight to lose, go off of your goal body weight because that's based off of lean mass. And then carbs and fat, that's just a tricky one. It really depends on how active you are, especially.
Sure.
So generally, the more active you are and the more intense your workouts are, so like CrossFit, the more carbs you'll want to include.
Right.
So I'm not giving specific quantities, but that's kind of a
Sure.
place to start.
No, yeah, that's perfect. I mean, if for you guys out there watching, and so I've worked with Hannah in the past, and that was the thing we pulled from me was I didn't eat enough protein, which I was like shocked, and I was like, I get to eat more protein. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So for a while, when I was moving and doing stuff, I probably do tend to undereat, which is probably the greater world maybe is maybe overeats. I would think, right? We tend to eat too much, but yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it depends on how active you are. That's a great point, and it is so specific. So thanks for the broad stroke of that. And then, like I said, I think we'll get into maybe some more stuff here that'll detail some stuff. And hello to everyone who's been joining. Thank you very much. Again, if you guys have questions, I'm kind of keeping an eye on kind of what's going through the feed, and I'll make notes. And at the end, we'll do a Q&A if I feel like we haven't hit anything. So thanks for that broad stroke. If you guys don't know Hanna or follow Hanna or haven't now that we've kind of connected and posted about this, Hanna has a website, contemporarycavewoman.com. You have your pages, and you send out awesome emails. And today I received, oh, thanks. Today I received my quarantine survival guide, which I didn't even know was coming. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So I quickly scanned through it because I just got it today and I didn't know it was coming. But I'm glad when I get those things. But I will dig into a little more. But I did see a few things maybe to bring up with that guide. So if you guys do go to follow Hanna, you said you can get that email and kind of get that guide too.
Yeah, if you go to the link in my bio, so on Instagram, it's just at Contemporary Cavewoman, and the first link on there says free quarantine survival guide, I think.
Perfect.
So you can sign up there, yeah.
Perfect. And a few things maybe to talk about I saw in there is one, maybe we'll start with one, some maybe the tools that are helpful for maybe when you're trying to figure out your nutrition. And then I guess I'll say the second thing too, so you can kind of get your brain around it. You posted the beneficial foods that like help your immune system and things that do to help your immune system, especially with what's going on right now. That's going to be pretty topical. And so maybe if you want to talk about maybe some of the tools people can use to help maybe figure out what to do for nutrition, and then two, some of the things that help our immune system. And I'm sure they're interlaced.
Yeah, so as far as tools, and speaking of the quarantine guide, I think a food log can be super helpful because it just shows you where you're at and how you can improve. And there's varying degrees of food logging, right? There's like MyFitnessPal or people that track macros, and that's kind of more extreme on one end of the spectrum. But one of the tools in the quarantine survival guide is a much more simple food log that I put together that's just based on a simple system that I created. It makes more sense if you see it in the guide, but it's really to help you track food quality, because I think that's a great place to start, like we were saying.
Right.
And so just identifying, okay, how much of my foods are coming from those fresh, healthy, real foods that I talked about versus like processed foods. So that's just a great place to start.
Totally. I like that. Yeah, I think writing it down exposes that, right? And then when it's exposed, you kind of see it and then you can fix it. And so I totally agree. Writing things down will expose a lot of stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
I like that. And then I mentioned maybe some stuff to help the immune system, or kind of maybe some rules of thumb or some things we should be doing in general to help our immune system.
Yeah, so again, kind of big picture again, just by eating good food quality, you're going to be well on your way to having a healthy immune system. Specifically, foods that are rich in zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D are going to be really key. And by the way, my doctor, so I'm not a doctor, but my personal doctor, who's awesome, and she has training in functional medicine as well as traditional medicine. I had an appointment with her in March, and she was saying she also has been telling all of her patients vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. Try to eat those foods. And right now, since we're all thinking about it, maybe even supplement. But so something to consider and talk with your doctor. But as far as getting those from your diet, so I kind of have my list here, and those are in the guide too, but I can quickly go through those if you want,
Yeah.
Of like foods rich in those.
Totally.
So yeah, so for zinc, foods that are going to be rich in that include like pumpkin and hemp seeds, grass-fed beef, chickpeas, lentils, cashews, spinach, and mushrooms. And I would say animal sources are going to be a little bit better because The plant foods also can have anti-nutrients that bind with the zinc and prevent you from absorbing it. So incorporating some grass-fed beef or some meat in there is helpful to get more zinc. And then vitamin C. So red bell peppers, kale, and all other leafy greens, of course. Broccoli, cruciferous veggies are great. Sweet potatoes, kiwi. I actually learned somewhat recently those are like vitamin C superfoods. And then of course citrus fruits like oranges that we all think about.
Right.
Yeah, and then vitamin D. So best sources of vitamin D are going to be fatty fish like salmon, sardines, tuna, and then also foods that are not quite as good but still a decent source would be like egg yolks, beef liver, yogurt a little bit.
Wait, that was for vitamin D?
Yeah, that one is for vitamin D.
Really? Oh, I would never even like heard that. I would have thought you would. I thought you were gonna say sunlight.
Oh, well, yeah, sorry. Actually, sunlight would be the best source, to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay. But yeah, no, of course. But
Yeah,
I never would have thought foods like that. I would maybe the foods you
yeah.
mentioned almost seem like fatty, oily type answers to me.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin, so I guess it does make sense that you would get it from fattier foods.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Okay. Enlighten me.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, and primarily that one you do get it primarily from animal sources,
Right.
like the ones I mentioned. Yeah,
Wow. That's
kind of
that's
interesting.
that's really interesting. That's
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like, right? I never heard that. I love stuff
Yeah,
like
and most people are deficient in vitamin D, especially in those winter months or like now if you live in someplace cold and the weather hasn't been great.
I feel like
Um,
where by vitamin D. Like,
yeah,
especially now. I mean, I probably hear vitamin D every day in any podcast right now. Is like vitamin D. Especially right. You said
yeah,
when it's cold, in those times when the flu goes around, or like I said now. So it
yeah,
seems that's a big one. So
yeah.
nice.
Vitamin D actually acts like a hormone in your body, so it's super, super important for your immune system and for everything. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Vitamin D. Okay. Get your vitamin
yeah.
D. And
And then
eat
I
your
guess
yeah.
And
Nice.
then a few others I
Oh,
should
sure.
mention too. Just antiviral foods like garlic and ginger are great as well for right now.
Yeah, I heard that for sure. I love
Yeah,
that. Oh, nice. That's super helpful.
yeah,
And kind of mind blowing a little bit. Um, and like I said, even just now, and like I kind of asked you my first question, it is a little overwhelming, right? To think about like getting all
yeah,
those foods in. So, yeah, but I agree. Going back to like the journaling and stuff, it will help you kind of expose that stuff. It makes me want to go
yeah.
to the supermarket and buy more stuff right now, figure it out. Just a
And that,
mix. I tend to eat.
yeah,
I'm gonna kind of go throw a loop here. Maybe just talking personally, and I'm sure maybe people have the same question. I haven't seen any questions come through. Is I tend to eat the same thing like over and over and over. Maybe I'm a dude, and maybe it's like I don't know the guy girl thing, or we're creatures of habit, so maybe everyone's like that.
hmm
Um, man, I guess. Do you have any advice for? Like I said, I'm trying to throw in a loop here, but
yeah.
to like mix up my eating. I mean, I guess I'm not really
Well,
quick, but
yeah,
buy stuff and force yourself to eat it maybe.
I
Yeah.
think part of it is, like you said, it feels kind of overwhelming. And so the reason why I wanted to start with like big picture, just trying to eat those fresh whole foods in general, you're going to be incorporating some of that stuff. So when all else fails, just go with fresh fruits and veggies. You can't go wrong. They're going to have nutrients and
Right.
get you most of the way there. As far as, yeah, changing it up. So I tend to do that. I tend to eat like the same things a lot too, but I kind of have the same, I like build my meals in the same way, but I try to switch up foods. So if you eat the same things, I would say try to like think about the components to your meal. So I think of meals in terms of like protein, you got your vegetables, you got your starchy carbs, and then some healthy fats.
Yep.
And I just kind of rotate through different ones. So
Yeah.
we
I
have
like
like 5 different proteins we kind of tend to stick with, but we rotate through and we'll try to do different veggies and then different carbs.
I like that. Sort of like spin the wheel and what am I gonna do today? I like that idea. And
Yeah,
that actually
makes it
simplifies. That
easy.
like simplifies it for me because like I'm like I don't really cook. I kind of like salad.
I remember.
I don't cook. I know,
Yeah.
it's hard. But I want to learn. So I definitely could do better. Um, yeah, and mix it up more. So maybe that's
Yeah.
something. Next time I go to the market, I'm gonna buy something I've never really like made before. I think substitute for
Yeah.
something. I think that's important to mix it up too, right? Um,
Definitely.
so I love that. I love that. So I kind of have I guess we can talk a little more at the end too. But I do have one more question. I think we've covered a lot of broad stroke stuff. Like I said, I don't really see any questions. Like I said, if you want to deep dive into something, let me know. But the last question I had on my list was, um, being a strength coach and into movement and fitness, um, I see kind of holes in things. And I think we're very good at strength training and strength progressions. Like, I can obviously check out like Olympic lifting. Like you can break down Olympic lifts and progressions really well. And, people kind of understand that in CrossFit. But when it comes to maybe just like general, how well do you move, gymnastics progressions, I think people lack a lot. So I try to do like some movement classes and do these animal flow things when I warm up. And these things fail big time because they're kind of like the little things you should be doing and working on. They're going to make everything else better. So they're like these foundational things. So for example, like a ring muscle up, like you should be working your false grip strength and your ability to pull, your hands to your chest. And if you don't have that, you probably have no business not having a false grip and trying to swing into the muscle up. You're probably not ready for it. One, you're obviously not ready for it physically, but you could be causing an injury because you're skipping over that whole strength zone you didn't even build to try and get a muscle up. So when I see people swinging to try and get a muscle up and not have any false grip strength, it is frustrating. So maybe I was thinking what are some of the, maybe we kind of brought it up a little bit, but what are the kind of like maybe the holes you see or the things that maybe come up a lot that you're like, everyone should be doing that more. Why do I keep hearing that or seeing that? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, first, I think you made a really good point about the fundamentals and like you can't progress with a muscle up until you get false grip down or like these other smaller pieces. So I think with nutrition, it's very similar in that people, want to drastically change their diet or do these crash diets when it's just so important to just focus on those fundamentals and developing good habits of cooking food at home and understanding how to prep healthy foods and just those fundamentals will take you so far. But from there too, I think as far as like the holes that I see a lot, like we've talked about, protein is a really big one. I think maybe everyone I've worked with was not eating enough protein when I looked at their food tracking to begin with. So that's a really big one. And I think along with that is if you've never tracked your food before, it's just hard to know. So I think one of the best things you can do to then like progress is focusing on food quality, but then also tracking your food at some point just to understand those portions and understand how much you should be eating. Because another big one I see, especially with active people, is that a lot of them are under eating. And I used to do this myself. You were doing it when I worked with you.
Yeah.
Because, we're active and we're somewhat health conscious. So you're trying to make good food choices and they're going to be lower in calories. And so you don't realize that you're just not eating enough to properly fuel your body. And that becomes a problem because when people come to me and they want to lose weight, but they're already under eating, that has slowed their metabolism down. And what we really need to do is build up their food and spend some time doing that and focusing on strength and just bumping up their calories to get their body truly healthy before then trying to get them lean and to reach the goals that they're after.
I love that. That's an amazing answer, and because it's not what I would have thought. I would have thought you've been like, we all eat too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But it makes sense when it's said like that. So, and like I said, I kind of knew that a little bit. I probably still undereat a little bit. Sorry. Um, you know, I probably have some more quantity of the good foods, right? I probably have more quantity of the quality stuff. Doesn't mean
Yeah,
go eat, a box of donuts a day.
right. That's the idea.
The sidecar because I want to go there soon.
Oh, so
Um,
good.
yeah. They're probably still open actually.
They are. We got them not too long ago.
Nice. I love that you know that. I love that you know
Yeah.
that. All right, just trying. Um,
Oh, nice.
I guess those are kind of the questions I had and kind of want to bring up. I think that's super helpful. I think that's a good broad stroke of stuff, and maybe we didn't get and it is so hard to say like my first thought is maybe hey do we get into like specifics of foods, but you can't like it's so because it is so individual. So when someone does ask that question, dude, what do I do with food? You're like, do you have 3 hours to talk?
Right.
Because that's kind
Yeah.
of that's such a tricky thing. Like, it does have to be built over time and learned and kind of understood. But but like I said, work with you and having like a coach and someone would be like, wow, look, you start tracking. You're like, dude, you're eating like half the protein. You should like throw it on some protein, man. You're like, oh, yeah, I guess so. Or mix it up. And like I said, the way you've explained it to maybe eat more and build up those foundational things is, I love that. And I love that analogy and how we went back and forth there. But maybe just to finish off, if you want to get, and like I said, for everyone we guess a bunch of people just joined, we will share this video later, so it'll be up for a whole day, and we'll save it and stuff like that, so we can share it. And if you guys have any nutrition questions, now you know Hannah. So Hannah, if you have a few, a minute to take, and maybe a little shout out to yourself, like where can we find you? What kind of you do on your page? What do you offer? Whatever you kind of want to say, and
Sure.
tell us about yourself.
Yeah. So, I'm a nutrition and health coach and founder of Contemporary Cavewoman. And I primarily work with a lot of what I call everyday athletes. So people like you and me who we love fitness and love pushing ourselves. And maybe we have body composition goals and want to look good too. But we also have those performance goals in the gym and want to get stronger and faster and fitter as well.
Right.
So I work with a lot of people like that and help them understand how to eat and periodize their nutrition to reach those goals that have to do with performance and physique and all of that. And I do that through one-on-one nutrition coaching as well as programs and tools that I create and share on Contemporary Cavewoman. So yeah, you're welcome to join the email list. I send out a weekly newsletter. Yeah, and sometimes throw in fun little freebies like the quarantine survival guide. And yeah, again, you can get that on my Instagram. That's just at Contemporary Cavewoman. I almost said at contemporarycavewoman.com, but that's the website. So yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
I love it. And yeah, so anyone who like you said, if you guys are interested, reach out to Hannah. I'm guessing there's some information page in there if they want to reach out to you or just DM you or anything.
Yeah, you can message me, or there's a contact form on my website too.
Nice. I love it. So that was cool. I think that's got all I got. And
Perfect.
that was fun. And like I said, I saw Rubio and Shirley. What's up? Rubio's on right now. What's up, guys? I will save this video. We'll put it out there tonight, and like I said, I'll save it and post it in some other places too. But thank you so much for coming on and like taking the time to kind of pick your brain a little bit and get some knowledge. I learned a lot. The vitamin D thing is kind of whacking me up. I didn't think of it as like food. I never thought vitamin D from food. Like, and I've been in fitness, I don't know, forever. So yeah, it's crazy. It's so amazing that you don't know, and then there's just so much knowledge to learn, and it's especially in nutrition. It's overwhelmingly, and so is I guess fitness and everything. There's so much everything. So to kind of start to grasp little things, and like I said, I think it's just getting the foundations down is the key. And but thanks for helping with that and explain it. And can't wait to see you guys back in the gym and train, and miss you guys, and stay well. If you need anything from me, and I might be hitting you up and tagging you in some vitamin D posts. So.
Awesome.
Cool.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Jeff. It was fun.
That was super fun. All right. We'll see you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. See you guys.